Hey everybody, sorry about the delay, doing some technical background stuff. But hi, welcome to another week of Lord Z's Fantastical Dungeon. Brad is listening in, hopefully contributing via Discord on his drive home. He will be joining us within the next 30-40 minutes, hopefully. So really bog down on Fennin in that time frame, guys. And yeah, so our party had made it back to the material plane. Did a quick pit stop to deal with Urindris's stuff, at the resolution of which Urindris decided, I got my vengeance, I'm done, and took off into the mountains. Then another pit stop back at Fitz's place of residence, where some bear shaped activities took place, along with a happy familial reunion. And then down to Harthen, where the crew started prepping for their next voyage into the mountains that Sir Godric descended from, or was born in, rather. And doing the right thing, trying to help a shopkeeper, opened a can of worms and ended up spending an entire day walking around trying to make nice with the Thieves Guild, who, per Godric's words, serve a purpose for something other than target practice. And got their shopping done, and I think they were about ready to. Oh, and Fitz got a new intern. We'll go with intern. His name is Follow. He was a member of the city guard and is directly responsible for having killed the king's dog, and was looking for a pay bump, so he joined the crew, at least temporarily. We'll see how things go. And yeah, I think we were about ready to take off, unless anybody has a mulligan. While you guys are. I don't play golf, if that's the wrong reference, I'm sorry. But if anybody has anything here in town they meant to do, if anybody thought of like, oh fuck, I forgot to pick this up, now is also a good time for that.
Should we get more spices and stuff for cooking?
So when you got back to the ship, we didn't really get a chance to narrate it, but when you got back to the ship, the Church of Apollo has delivered multiple crates of food and vegetables and spices and ale, and you guys are as set as you will need to be for probably months in terms of food.
Never mind. Not fun.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say just mark off a gold piece and put an item in your inventory, gifts for so and so, just so you remember. Because I won't. Yep. So the crewing cost shows that the dwarves have been paid up for the next 10 months, and Follow has been paid for 1 month, which I'm assuming is the duration of his internship, assuming he survives that long. The inventory list, I might have forgotten some stuff that the church delivered, but for the most part, I've got it updated. You've got your extra sale. Oh, that was that was before I made the crew list. So, all right. So, anybody got anything? So you have 2 crates of rations. One of them you've taken 10 out of because a crate holds 50 rations in it. So you've got 90 rations there. But if it makes you feel better, I will do that and just break it down into individual rations for you. All right. And the Kandori blubber got brought back. It was refined. You got 3/4 of a barrel of oil out of that. And that oil will work as like lantern oil essentially. Okay. The 2 shoot horses also got delivered. They are on the map. There are no tokens for them as of now. You didn't buy any. I don't remember. You probably did. But, yeah. Okay. So there's a month of horse feed. All right. Anybody else got anything? Yeah, they're pretty good. They just hang out by my roots. Appreciate it, Godric. Sir Fitz, any mulligans for you?
Yes, I would have gotten a small red silk, like scarf thing. She's one of my orphans.
I'm literally gonna put a Red Riding Hood in your inventory. Okay. Okay. Anything else fits? All right, Miss Holly. Pamela.
Yeah.
Anything for you? Anything you might have forgotten?
Did you give me the pin already, or?
Yeah, it's in your inventory. It doesn't do anything, it's just cosmetic.
No, but did you give me like they physically said, oh, this is for you. I bought you this.
Oh yeah, have your moment.
Cause I'm still mad at you for what you did. So let's not forget what you did. Hush, hush, hush. Yes. Don't stay quiet.
Th- This is totally a take the heat and don't tell mom and I'll give you ice cream moment. Pam, do you remember what he did?
Absolutely. Of course
Okay.
I do. I had him
Just,
physically irritated. Of course I do.
just checking. All right. Well, if nobody has anything left to do in the city.
I actually had an idea. Yeah.
Okay, what's up?
This she sits in a chair, right?
Yep.
Is it comfy chair or comfy quarters that she lifts her hands in?
It's pretty comfortable. She's never complained.
I mean, like, could you get her to have
Yeah,
the recliner option?
it's like a sofa cushion, but she does the Indian style seating in it when she goes into a trance. So
I mean, after your girl's got to sleep in this stupid chair damn near 24/7. Let's make sure she's comfortable first.
okay.
Get her like one of those cat campers. Get her a snuggie.
Well, with everybody set in and ready to go, you all gather at the helm to plot your course. So you are currently in Harthen, which is here. And down on the mountain range, I just hand drew the little figures there, but the little hut was your village, Godric, and then the quote unquote castle is where the dragon you knew was last seen. Or slain, rather.
Okay. No.
And Miss Holly, you would know that that castle, it's not an actual castle, that's just the symbol I used, but that's where Cug had taken you. So,
I'm proud of you, Cub.
I need to know what route you guys are taking. If you're going direct from Harthen, if you're going to go east and then follow the ridge, if you're going to go around and approach from the south.
Here in Lothran, we are going straight there. We're not even like 8 minutes south.
Okay. So you're just going to lift straight off from where you were and get after it?
That is correct.
Okay. And who is piloting?
That's a good question. Well, since we have the course set, um, Tali, would you like to take the first half of the leg or something, and then I'll come in for the second half?
Yeah, I'll do the first half. That's fine.
Okay. We'll split the job.
Okay. If I remember correctly, it is first thing in the morning. You're looking about a day's worth of flight time.
Did Fitz get his armor?
For Sir Fluffy Butt, yes. Yes, you did.
Okay. I
Yeah.
remember he was supposed to have made it.
Nope. I've
How's that turn out? As beautiful as you're hoping?
as beautiful as it can for the lack of elegance in the forge you ordered it from. It looks a little rough. Like, he obviously put in a lot of work shining and polishing it. Probably could have spent more time actually forging it. But it's sturdy. It's got some character.
Sounds like I'm gonna have to order that medium or even pretty good thickness. No, nobody said it was.
Fitz is fucking glamorous. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about Harthen, not about Harthen here in North. It's sturdy. It'll get the job done. We just add a little more to it.
Alrighty. Are you guys sailing straight up to the cave, or are you going by your village?
Let's. I have some really bad memories of the village, but I think that would be a good spot to stop in. So let's just go to the village.
Okay.
There's a lot of people in there. We know it's a general vicinity, but we don't have anything definitive yet.
Okay. So Miss Holly, you take control of the ship as Misty goes into her trance, and the ship starts rising out of the water. And anybody looking over the railing, particularly Follow, would start having a mild heart attack. Anybody not a part of the crew would start having a mild heart attack as the ship starts to float because nobody has ever seen that before here. And you can see dock workers stopping and pointing and dropping what they were holding because they forgot they had it. And then you start hearing the bells. And Godric, you would recognize these as the city watch bells, the something's going on bells.
Yeah, I'd step out to follow
Okay.
and just wait. That's the normal.
Okay. So you're standing there waving. Okay. The ship keeps going. You can see archers up on the battlements, manning the ballistas and training arrows at the ship. And they see you standing there waving, and they all kind of lower their weapons a little bit, but keep it up. And they recognize you, but they're clearly very, very confused at a flying ship right now, especially with all the weird interdimensional stuff that's been going on lately. But you continue to watch, weapons trained on you the whole time as you fly over the city and start making your way.
Making your way downtown. Just whatever.
But you guys are well on your way. Is there anything you would like to do while you're traveling?
Look over the landscape to see if I see anything that's been away for a while.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Oh, hey.
Even from this distance, you can tell that Ron's fold has not been repaired yet. It is still very much a war-torn city. A number of buildings were razed as there was a fire, if you recall. To the west, you can see Erksfeld, the garrison. It's kind of like the Helm's Deep of Lothran, if you will. But you can see it. It has been reinforced, re-improved. New trenches have been dug, so it kind of looks like a World War One battlefield with just layers of trenches surrounding it in anticipation. Uh, the land itself leading up to the crossroads, there's some signs of skirmishes. There's some broken down wagons. How high are you guys? I didn't ask that. What elevation are you flying at?
Above the trees,
Okay. So just
maybe just a little above the trees, and not that high.
so like 1 to 150 feet off the ground. Okay. Yeah, so you can definitely see that there has been some skirmishes. The equipment laying around, the wagons that were clearly hit by something, and it wasn't just a wheel fell off and it couldn't get fixed. As you get farther south past the crossroads, you can definitely see that there's been more fighting down this way. There's actual battlefields where it looks like a full-on skirmish had taken place. And there's a little more smoke than usual rising out of Schluberg, which you can't see, but you know where it's at. There's a clearing. You just can't see the building because of the trees. Right. Anybody got anything else while you guys are traveling? Of course, Follow, eager to impress, has gone to you, Sir Fitz, and asked if there's any duties he must perform in your name, good sir.
I had. I mean, we basically biggest duties I'm looking for help on right now is taking rotation watch, morning sparring and prayer. Really have to shine my armor on those. Plus, you just had it. Um, basically lend a hand where you can. Just every morning before breakfast, we have an hour of sword training, followed by preceded by and followed by a small prayer.
He will be at all of them, with the note that he will not be praying at prayer, but he will silently and respectfully attend.
Fair enough.
While speaking to him, you would also notice he has rid himself of all of his guard equipment and clothing. He now wears half plate armor and wields a longsword, short bow, and a shield. You do take notice, though, that he maintained his manacles, his handcuffs, from his days on the guard. Because every ex-cop knows you keep a pair of handcuffs. Period. End of story. Shake your head all you want. I got like 4 pairs from my time. I'm just saying. And he also has like a warning horn. So, just so you're aware of what he is.
So we get him a flag.
Be-
Could use those abilities.
Beyond that, you recognize that above table, you would recognize that he is a warrior, so a fighter in that sense. Yeah, that's all I'm going to tell you about him. Figure the rest out yourself.
I would, at some point in time, I see Fitz with Follow. Walk up, say, hey, have you introduced me to the rest of the group? No, honestly, I guess I got lost was there that the first time. Well, you've been in, yeah, but I'm referring to the Treeborn, Trevor, you, who all these people are. He,
Well, I would have at least introduced him to Trevor in this hall.
When you
It would make sense to tell everybody else.
when you
I'm
when
not conscious of
when you introduce him to Trevor, all Trevor cares about is that you still haven't smoked with him.
Don't
He
worry, we take care of this dragon. I got this suit pipe I gotta show you.
he straight up he does the yeah that's cool, nice to meet you, bro. Fits. The fuck, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, introductions would be made whether you make them with him or he does it himself. He's a pretty chipper guy, doesn't have a problem going around talking.
That's a golden dog.
But
Thing damage left.
as you're there, Godric,
I didn't think about that. That's wonderful.
as you're there, Godric, he will turn to you and go, Sir Godric, it is morning, and my Lord Fitz has yet to see me perform, but we are supposed to spar every morning. Would you mind sparring with me so he can observe and give me notes on where to improve? Just friendly sparring, technique practice
With or without weapon.
with non-lethal, of course. Unless you crit and go over his max HP, in which case, oops.
I just won't add any to my
I, whatever you want, sir. This is purely for my lord to observe me.
I look at the is it a foot? Kind of pretty unusual.
That's fine. I'm just trying to get him to stop calling me my lord or stuff like that.
The medieval term is "I have your leave."
Here's Squire. What?
Comes with the territory. Deal with it.
Well, alright.
Sure. Okay.
Find a spot. Kind of where we are now. A little bit. That playing around down there. And use the mace expression to kill.
Which your mace instantly starts glowing, and you can see the look in his eye. He has a brief fuck look. Go ahead and roll an initiative for me, Mike. And Miss Holly, as always, you are aware, both visually and audibly, of everything going on, whether you can see it or not on the ship.
Yeah.
So, hey, look at that. You're not in the bottom of the initiative. Go for it, Mike.
This apprenticeship is off to a good start. You already know his initiative like me.
You go to swing your mace at him the first time. He quickly ducks out of the way. Anything else for your turn? Alright.
I've been watching Fantastical, so figure out what fighting style he uses.
Okay. He swings. You bring your sword up or your shield up and parry it away. And go ahead with your next strike. Oh, he does. Sorry. You parry that away, which he quickly brings around, and you're able to block with the mace. Just do it. I can take it. Excited to be fighting again, he lets his guard down for a brief moment, and you catch him in the rib with your mace. But he quickly picks himself back up, lunging 2 strikes at you, both of which you are able to parry. And from the flurry that he just gave you, he's able to take a half a step back. And Fitz, you would definitely notice he kind of takes a deep, like when you got a rib cramp and you take that deep breath to stretch it out. He does that and then loosens up his shoulders and seems perfectly fine, ready to go. Mike, you're up.
You just fucking crit.
You come down with an overhead swing, and he gets his shield up to block it, but it hits with such force that his shield smashes into the top of his head, giving him the 10 bludgeoning damage. But again, he's quickly back at you with a nice uppercut, hitting you for a little bit of damage there. And then he follows through with the side swipe, catching you again. You're up.
There we go. Wake you up a little bit, yeah.
18 will hit. Points there. So you're able to land a grazing blow on his shoulder, and he comes right back at you again with 2 quick swipes, neither of which hit. Go ahead. That'll hit. Damage. At this point, he stops and he puts a hand up. He goes, he's clearly it's been a while since he's been in a good fight, but he stops. Thank you, Sir Godric. That was very educational. I feel for both of us.
Well, my friend, I guess you made a good fight. Pay attention to your targets. I am a hard worker. Kudos to
Oh, thank you, sir. I've trained hard. Fitz, go ahead, and I'll say Godric as well. Go ahead and make insight checks, both of you. And Miss Holly. Hey, if it works, it works. You gotta keep those dice, though. No worries. You don't need to roll, Pam. You'll notice everything I'm about to tell them because they rolled high enough. So you guys would have reached the insight that he is strength based. He's got a little bit of dexterity to him, but he is strength over speed. He's got about 50 hit points, give or take, and an armor class of 18. He does not have a fighting style because he's not a professional fighter.
look up at my hand up.
And don't forget yours back to you. And as you do it, he looks down at his arm and he can see the cuts left from your mace, your mace head heal up. He goes, "Oh, thank you, Sir Godric. It's much appreciated."
Of course. Ready to meet you.
Well, I'm here for it. He's
Try and make my path past Fitz. I said, Fitz, gotta get me there, bud.
Yeah,
Got hard.
as you
Make my way up to Fitz.
okay. As you walk away, Philo will come up to you, Fitz, and did I do good, Daddy? No. My lord, am I adequate?
yeah. And I'm sorry, I don't think I heard you say, did you fight with just a sword, or a sword and a shield, or a two-handed?
Longsword and a shield,
Okay, so when we have
and then
our
he also has a short bow, but you didn't see him use it, obviously.
when we're doing our swords training and stuff in the morning, I am going to start training him up guardian style. Protection.
Protection.
I'm gonna start training him up in that. View, and I am combat sim fighting style.
Okay.
That's my goal anyway.
Side note, wait, Ben and probably come up like 10 hours away.
Oh yeah, no, he's been up there watching everything. You with us, Brad?
He was finishing logging out.
No worries, bud. You take your time. Have you been able to listen in so you know what's going on?
Yeah, I've been listening.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no rush, bud.
Sparring session going on.
Yep, you guys took off. You're making your way to the village Godric was born in, for starters. And yeah, then there's a little. Follow is the intern, so he was showing what he's capable of, basically. But alright, anybody else got anything for the flight? Okay. So the flight carries on. It's an all day event. As you get just east of Schluberg, uh, anybody looking, make a perception check. Godric, you would definitely be one of them because of what you noticed earlier. Beautiful. Miss Holly, you're a little focused on the ship. The rest of you, however, you would be able to see Godric's, particularly because you're looking for it. The excess smoke coming out of Schluberg was a concluded attack of some sort. More than one of the buildings was on fire. It has since been extinguished. What little bit of the village you can see doesn't seem like anything's going on there currently. But something did happen very recently to cause that fire. And it was multiple buildings on different sides of the village. So it wasn't like, oh, that building caught fire and then the one next to it caught fire. It was spread out. If there's anything you wanted to do with that.
Definitely interesting.
Not a problem. The trip carries on. B prepares a lovely prime plane dinner for you guys. I gotta look at the inventory. It is roasted chicken with carrots, potatoes, onions, and a brown gravy.
It's like a stew thingy. I go.
Yeah.
And I had a house bread.
Oh, of course, there's bread to go with it.
Right.
And I took one of the chickens off your inventory. Alright.
Now my last hungry, huh?
The day continues. You approach the mountains. You realize well ahead of time that you're going to need to gain some elevation to get up into the mountains. I'm assuming there's no opposition to that happening.
How do I do that?
You tell me that you want to fly higher, and I say, okay, you're flying higher. So you raise your elevation and find a nice little like valley between two mountain ridges. Godric, you know that it's not up at the top of the mountains, but you need to get into the mountains to get there. And if you recall correctly, following this valley will take you straight to it.
I would wager that you could say flying high.
I'm already kind of convinced it should because Fallon's full of shit. Right now. So,
I'm totally changing his name to Fallon, by the way, because Jimmy Fallon just sounds like a good name for him.
that's probably one the whole time in my head.
Hey, it works.
Get back the corn.
So you continue in the ridges. I need everybody to move their tokens to wherever you are as you start to enter the valley. If you're flying and not doing anything else, Pam, dinner's over at this point. So I would assume you would be at the helm where you currently are.
I don't know how to do anything.
Nope. Fallon is going to take some personal time below deck. Okay. So you are flying through the valley of the mountain of the shadow of death. Because I couldn't get that out of my head. And a strong crosswind comes over the top of the mountain to the south. And essentially bashes into the ship. And I need everybody on deck, not in a cabin, to make a dexterity save for me. So that'll be Fitz, Fluffy, Fennin, and Godric. Yes, sir. And Fluffy Butt as well, please. Beautiful. All right. So you all managed to grab and hold on just in the nick of time as the ship, like, tilts 45 degrees to the left and then stabilizes. I'm waiting for Miss Holiday to yell, sorry, like she usually does. Okay. So you continue up the ridge. The strong winds don't get any stronger, but happen more regularly as you continue your climb up the mountain. By the time you get to the village, it is rough for you, Miss Holly, to keep the ship stable and flying straight. Anybody who wants to can make either an insight check or actually no, a nature check.
Myself included.
Yep. I don't need no trees. I got Apollo.
I'll do that. Hold on.
Okay. Uh, so yeah, you guys have no idea what's going on with the winds. Much as must just be how it is. But you eventually get to Godric's village, which is doubly named Godric's village. And you go to set down, and it does not look anything like you remember at Godric. What was once a village of, 80 or 90 Goliaths living their life, doing their thing, is now 5 huts and a central fire, like a gathering fire. Yeah. You haven't been back here since you were a kid, bud. Um, that was when you left. This is 10 to 15. This is like 15 years later, give or take. So you are currently within eyesight of the city. I'd say maybe a quarter mile away. You can see these 4 or 5 little makeshift huts where your village used to be. Everything is frozen over currently. There is snow on the ground at this location.
Do the fields look forest? Flat, smooth ground, or is it hilly with trees and rocks everywhere?
It's about as smooth as Godric would remember it, but this is like a plateau on the mountainside. Mm-hmm. Not that you can see currently. But you can see these 5 huts. You don't see anybody there currently. What do you want to do? Is that the consensus?
Godric's call says
Okay. Not hard to find a clearing. What was once, as you remember at Godric, large fields, is now only 5 huts. So there is more than enough space to put the ship down pretty much anywhere, including right up next to the huts. So my question is going to be, how far away from the huts do you want to be?
little way.
Okay. So about 100 yards off from the huts, you go to start setting down. The Treebeards and Fallon are there and get the stilts ready to go. And the ship lowers and softly touches down, and you are landed.
I'm gonna address the crew and say, okay, this is where I grew up. When I left, everything was ravaged, but those huts tell me that somebody was living in this area. Hopefully, they will have seen signs of dragons or things lurking around here, so we can get a little bit more information before we go in blindly. Um, I'm thinking if the crew wants to come with me, they're more than welcome to, but this way I'm just going to a very small, I don't even know what to call it, settlement, in case they need things like there.
Oh, well, if you want.
All right. Yeah. No, like I said, I'm leaving whether you guys come with me or not. Because, like I said, I'm taking a look at see if there's anybody here, and right away.
Okay, okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So who all's getting off the ship?
Brendan?
Yeah, I'll go.
I'll go.
As go ahead.
What was she gonna say? I don't remember if I have my cloth. I know I have my hat, but I couldn't remember if I had my cloth.
What?
Cloth, like a schmog we were talking about.
You did say you were gonna get one, so you can put it in your inventory, and take off 3 silver.
So I would go, but I would have my crew there if I needed it.
Okay.
My plus.
All right. So all 4 of you are going.
No, Brown's not gonna be there.
And Fallon is going to be on your hip as well, Fitz. All right. So is Sir Fluffy Butt coming with?
Yes.
Okay. So the 6 of you then get off the ship. The crew members will stand watch. Miss Holly keeping the ship ready just in case. And they watch as you approach the village. As you guys start approaching the village, everybody go ahead and make perception checks for me. Okay. How you roll a 6 and get a 19, Brad? What the fuck? So all of you, as you're approaching, you're obviously keeping an eye out and being aware of your surroundings. The first thing you notice is it's not currently snowing, and there are no footprints in the snow. The second thing you notice is the buildings themselves, 4 of them being smaller, about the size for a family to live in, and the 5th one being larger and shaped more like a storehouse. The architecture is ragtag, so it is not Goliath or Dwarven or any type of specific structure. It's like Native American. It's like sticks and furs, essentially. The fire pit is built up like it's ready to be lit, but shows no sign of having been lit recently. Like all the wood in it is fresh.
I was, as we're approaching the village, I would start calling out, "Hello, anybody home? Hello," that kind of thing.
Your voice echoes up the mountainside. You hear no response.
I would follow that up with, "We mean you no harm. We're just travelers passing through, hoping for some information on the area."
Once again, your voice echoes through the canyon. No response. By this point, you would have gotten to the village.
And say, "Well, I don't want to be rude, but I'm curious to see if there's anybody actively living here." So I walk up to the nearby dusty canyon, unless it's a bigger one. I won't bother with it right away.
So they are in. They're in a star shape. So if you look at the Lyra map, your guys' tokens are about where Sir Fluffy Butt, and it's house, 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 fire pit, and then the storage house.
Okay. Well, we'll go in right next to the fire pit.
Okay.
You know,
You can see that the door on all of these is like 4 sticks with a fur wrapped over it for the paneling. So 4 sticks to make the frame, and then the fur itself actually blocks everything from coming in. You kind of stick and take a peek because there's obviously cracks. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
yeah, I would, as I'm doing that, I would make sure I'm saying something along the lines of, "I'm just checking to see if there's anybody here. Mean you no harm."
So you peek through the corner of the door frame. You can see 3 bedrolls, a fire pit in the center, and a small table towards the back. On the table is some like bread rolls, a bag of flour or grain of some sort, and a half burnt candle.
Does it have the smoldering effect to it? Like, might it put out, or?
Nope.
Okay. Say, if you guys want to make this fast, if you guys want to check the other side of the door around, see if we can find anybody. I don't see anybody in this one. As I start walking towards the north.
Okay.
Let me go check the storehouse.
Okay. Sir Fluffy Butt will kind of hang outside, keeping an eye out. Fennin, Miss Holly, was there one you wanted to check? Okay, I guess that leaves the last one for Miss Holly.
Yeah. Last one.
Okay. Everyone, go ahead and make perception checks. So Fennin and Godric, you take your peaks. Very, very similar to what I just described. Think your typical medieval shack, essentially. No signs that anybody was there recently. Both of them completely empty. Fitz, you take your look, and you can see some burlap sacks rather, pits with like a black powder on them, some stacks of wood, and some barrels inside the storehouse. Miss Holly, you take a peek in yours, and give me just a second. The rest of you, anything you want to do based on what you saw?
I'm sorry, I had to take my headphones off.
It's your typical medieval shack. So some bedrolls, a central fire pit, and then like a small bench or table with some very basic cook stuff, and a candle for light. Maybe some furs hanging on the wall. No signs of people. Correct. Miss Holly, you doing anything? You're muted.
No.
Okay.
I'll step inside and search, see if there's any signs of
Okay. As you go and step inside, there is a crack of bright light, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw for me. Okay. You do pass, but you're going to take half of this. And then you've got your evasion or whatever it is, so you're actually going to take a quarter of it. Fucking math. 4. So you take 4 points of lightning damage as a floor glyph gets set off by you stepping on it.
immediately back out of the house. And then say, there's more to all of this than what we see. Just prepare yourself, it might be a little shocking.
Okay. Roll a dexterity saving throw for me. About an 11. That's beautiful. As you step into your hut, you see a skull that you hadn't seen previously. It was like just around the corner. And when it sees you, its eyes light up and its mouth moves and it says, "Ha! You're too late." And then another flash of light as you take 19 points of fire damage from an explosion going off. The fire explosion sets the hut on fire.
No. Not a fire protection.
Nope.
I am calling the fire protection.
Should have bought some fire resistant stuff while you were in town. Yeah. Except now you're 25 as you're still standing in a burning hut and the fire hits you again.
Fire resistance and fire.
House on fire.
Yes, because you had taken a step back and gone, well, it might be a little shocking when you enter the house, and then boom, and basically the house looks like it got hit with a fireball, and Miss Holly is standing there. It's like, what the fuck? It's still standing there screaming from the inside of the house. You're going to take 2 more points of fire damage, Miss Holly.
Does he see Holly standing in the fire?
Yeah.
Step away from the fire.
I'm going away. I'm going away.
Okay. You just walk out of where the door was, and you're no longer on fire.
I didn't see
Save me from fire. That's not fun, man. Stay funny.
I was walking up to Miss Holly and I told her, "Are you all right?"
Christy, but I'm not okay.
Cast fear word as I cast fear words on her.
Oh, thank you, Scotty. Thank you. I'm back to my growing textures.
Well, let's not walk it into any houses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rookie mistake.
we say that in unison.
Where's Fitz?
Where is Fitz?
Turn and look in the silo.
Fitz was at the storehouse trying to decide if he wanted to go in or not. Then he sees a bolt of lightning come out, Bennett step out, and Miss Holly sets the house on fire. I think he's probably wondering what's going on.
So, I'm gonna look at the crew and say, I think the hut's booby trapped. Let's go in there, Fitz. And then out loud, in a very loud voice, I would say, apologies for the damage to the hut. We were just trying to determine if anybody was here. We're not finding anybody. We're going to leave. As I motion with my head to ship. Come on, come on. You're not responding, and we're doing more farm than we are. Good, good.
Do we even know? There's a grain silo in town?
Best you can tell, there's just that one storehouse.
And I really didn't see one in there, did I? Like just bits and pieces.
Make an insight check for me.
I mean, when I was here, there was a silo, but it was crumpled. Like it got knocked over. Destroyed. I don't know if they're doing that building or not.
Even with a 9, you would recognize that half of the bags in that storehouse most likely held charcoal in them, and the other half held some type of grain.
They look. I mean, do they look full or empty?
Yeah, it's like three potato sacks. It's essentially of each. So not a lot, but enough where 15 people would be able to survive for a week, maybe.
Is there a mine of some sorts in this area where they could be mining charcoal?
So there wasn't an actual mine, but you would know that there are coal deposits throughout the mountains,
Okay.
which is part of the reason why your village was established here, because trees don't grow this high up, but there was a readily available fuel source that just had to work for it a little bit.
That was not I didn't know.
Nope, I just made that up on the fly. Well, I made it up like an hour ago, but still.
All right. Well, as we
people either leave for the winter or they've left for some reason and they're not coming back. There's people here to maybe keep the village fed for a week. Probably not even that.
yeah. Well, the thing is when I left, there was nothing. Every home, the main silo, the fields, that dragon wiped it all out. All the people. There was literally nothing but destruction when I came out of that silo.
Okay.
It ended up being some clerics of Hollow that helped get me out of there. And that's why I left, thinking there was nobody here. Seeing the huts gave me a little bit of hope. Maybe somebody else managed to survive. And with us being so close to the supposed lair of this dragon, I was hoping we could find some information like flight patterns, comings and goings from that area, something like that. But just by looking for the people, we managed to destroy one of their huts. Not your fault, Masada. Said, hey, no, don't worry about it. You did your best, but don't feel bad. I don't, and then come back to the conversation by saying, with that said, no signs of people. They've now lost one of their huts. I say we just get on the ship and leave the area. The vicinity of where this dragon is supposed to be. Hopefully find him and vanquish his evil ass. We just have to go with what information we got. That's it. No extra.
All right.
There's nothing in the surrounding area at all.
Go ahead and make one last perception check as you turn around, look around. Anybody who wants to. Miss Holly's being Miss Holly, I guess. But Godric and Fennin, you don't notice anything unusual or out of the ordinary that you didn't notice the first time you were here. Godric, this time as you're getting ready, the next stop being that place, you let your eyes wander up the next mountain over, following the zigzaggy trail up the side of the mountain, and you can clearly see the entrance up at the top to where you're heading to next. You would know from past experience, Godric, there is nowhere to land up there.
Okay, so when we get to the ship, because that's where we're heading, bring the ship over there.
I figured you were already back on the ship, so
Okay, okay. I wasn't sure at how far in the point of getting back we were. So now that we're back and everybody's gathered, I would relay that information. Let's put it that way. From my knowledge of this area, which mind you is 15 years
as he gingerly strokes his tattoo.
I mean, you guys are maybe approaching, like, I mean, I don't know how far travel would be by foot, but maybe pretty good.
Sun's going down by horseback, maybe 2 hours.
Was that once a day spell? Find the seed?
Yeah. But once you cast it, you have the horse until it dies.
Yeah.
So as long as it doesn't die the second you cast it,
Yeah.
that's typically fine.
Okay, so uh well, it is getting late. We have accommodations here at the ship. How about we take a rest here? Let's do quick patrols essentially on the ship, keep watch because we are landed in although I'm somewhat familiar with the area, I haven't been here in 13 years, so I don't know what's changed. So definitely need patrols. But say be here, get some rest for the night, get up fresh in the morning, have some breakfast, and head that way. See what we find. Any objections?
Nope.
Hang out around the night.
As long as you get some rest and you're ready for the morning, yeah, that's fine. But we are going up against major humans, so we want everybody on their A game.
Well, best I would say get ready. I don't know. I'll stick around the camp tonight.
Okay. Uh, Everybody, go ahead and make a perception check for me, for your night watch. The only thing any of you notice is that, with the exception of Godric, is that you guys did not prepare to be this high in the mountains, and it is fucking cold. But beyond that, there's nothing. No movement, no noise. The evening is quiet. Erdan, were you going... Erdan. Fucking Fennin. Were you going to patrol around at all?
No, it's expected that we should
Okay.
go around the ship for now.
Okay. Sounds good. Morning arises. Mud sludge is made plentifully. Warm meals for everybody. And what are you doing?
Well, it sounds like we have to track dragons instead of counting hounds. Apparently.
Okay, but are you guys taking your steeds or are you flying up?
I mean, I don't
On foot, 4 or 5 hours. On horseback, about 2 hours.
Okay, well, fun. Just walk.
Okay.
Filling out. That's gonna be amazing. Much as I want to whip this mount out,
When in
I don't
doubt,
like
whip it
using
out.
things. Yeah, well, I don't think I don't like using things unnecessarily.
Okay. So you all start walking, unless anybody's got anything else before you leave.
Long night's rest.
Yeah. Let me give you guys that. Thanks for reminding me.
I made a couple heals as well. Still had a bunch of sparks.
Yeah. Nope. You guys are all healed up. So, all right. So you all start making your way, following your way up the canyon. It's a pretty clear-cut path. You follow the canyon up to the ridge, and then from the ridge, there's a winding switchback trail leading up to the entrance. About you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's good on that trail.
Okay.
Even if he wasn't, he can fly now. So
Oh.
I keep forgetting to. It's okay. But an hour into the travel, you're not quite to the top of the canyon yet. I need everybody except for Godric to make me a Constitution saving throw.
I don't know.
Just a wee bit. Fluffy Butt does not need to make one, but you do, Fitz.
How what's my constitution?
I don't think it affects the saving throw, but let me adjust that. No, it does. It does actually, because your save is based off your modifier. So, all right, I got that adjusted.
Thank you.
Okay. So Fallon, Fitz, and Miss Holly. Clearly, you can tell that it's cold, but you're able to keep yourself wrapped in the cloak. Fennin, you are not used. Like, I don't even think you know what winter is based on where you're from. And on top of that, I don't think you're wearing shoes. Oh, you are. You're wearing your boots. But your toes have gone completely numb. You can barely feel your feet. You will be at disadvantage for anything dexterity based, which includes your ranged attacks, and your movement speed is halved.
Good to know that it's gonna be cold up here. Just saying.
I'm Ryan. I don't think about it. I'm sorry, bro. Fuck me, visual. I'm sorry. Glide, I don't worry about cold, and my armor tells me I don't worry about heat.
The subtotal RA game just got half. Or my RA game just got half.
Probably glide a bit forward. Add a little heat, help a little bit.
Just walk with a torch in each hand, holding them right above your feet.
Yeah,
try,
right.
try to compensate. But for real though, are you doing anything, Brad?
Remember, you went to winter one, right?
Yeah, I was there in February. I know that it rains, and then when it hits you, it freezes.
Yeah. So remember those days where you were just like, fuck this is cold, and you're just trudging along?
Yep, you embrace the shiver so that you just kind of stop shivering.
That's what it
Okay. Well, being slowed by Fennon's now disability, it takes the next hour to get to the top of the canyon. At which point, I need the same people to make another Constitution saving throw for me.
I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled on this one.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check.
I know there's something that keeps me there, so.
Pam, how do you get a +8? Oh, because you're proficient on con saves. That's how. Okay. Uh, Godric, you don't notice anything on the ridge. Um, the suck has continued sucking, but nobody's taken it too hard at this point. Uh, you guys want to switch anything up, or are you gonna just keep pushing?
I will. I will. I mean, am I noticing Brennan having a little difficulty?
I would say it's pretty clear. He's the one that's like trailing, and the rest of the group has to stop and wait for him to catch up. And it's very clear that he's the one who's slowing everybody down right now.
I kind of figured, but I don't tell the trick. With that nuisance, I say, hey, if we need to stop and light a fire, just let us know, okay, buddy?
It'd be
I don't
always
want to
nice to warm up, but I hope you as soon as I walk away from it.
As you're evaluating, Mike, go ahead and make a medicine check with advantage. See if I can get you some above table information.
I was gonna say, yeah. If it starts hurting, I don't want you to lose the post. Although I can help bring them back, I'd rather not. So, if it starts hurting, let somebody know. Stop the fire.
I don't know any specifics, so.
I know it's just me.
All right. Any changes? Anybody doing anything?
Just heed my warning. If it gets to be too much, let's stop and take a break. Get your breath.
Okay. The group continues onward for another hour. You started to work your way up the switchback, heading towards the cave entrance. And I need another round of con saves and a perception check from Godric. Fitz is just over there like, fuck yeah, concrete. I fucking love that shit.
He's got
I love.
bear full of fur under that.
All right. Godric, you would be able to tell that you guys are moving way too slow. What was supposed to be a 4-hour hike is looking more like 8 or 9 at this point. Miss Holly, the cold has set in on you. Your speed is halved. Anything dexterity based is at disadvantage. And Fennon, your right foot no longer hurts.
Executive call, guys. You're stopping and taking a break. So,
There are no trees or lumber or anything this high up. You would have to go all the way back to the ship to get anything fire-worthy. Make a medicine check, Godric. With advantage. Soon as he says the words, "it doesn't hurt anymore," you know that this has gone beyond that last message I sent you. And yeah.
Miss Holly. Miss Holly.
It's 10:30. She stepped away for a moment.
Okay. Can I have my clean brain reset?
You can.
If it all, if it was on fire,
Does that?
I got an even better idea, bud. I have 9 torches in my backpack. Can I take 4 of those torches? Would that be enough to make a little campfire with?
Yeah. It makes something.
Okay.
Can't guarantee how long it's going to last, but it would make something.
Screw it. We'll use 5.
Okay.
Make it into a little teepee, and I got tinderbox.
Okay. Whoever's lighting it, make me a survival check at disadvantage. The howling winds while you're high up on the mountain make it difficult for sparks to catch. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to look at the vending
Yes.
that I know handy out in the north side. So I'm gonna go, please. I was gonna ask Miss Holly whatever spell.
She goes, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea," and casts a firebolt at the torches, immediately catching them afire.
Okay. Get close. Invented by her inventor Lincoln Influence.
Okay. You know what y'all really need right now? Liamon's tiny hut. That's what you really need.
Yeah, irritating. But Fitz, do you say that out loud? That is like, I don't know if he's shivering or not, but if he's shivering, he would say it is he's shivering. He's going to say that. Yeah, not only that, it'd be nice to know that we were going into the cold.
Yeah, sorry, man, I forgot. I caught him. And Godric just looked at you and go, look at me, dude. I didn't think about that. I completely forgot, dude. I'm sorry.
So you guys spend the next 30, 40 minutes doing body heat treatments. Miss Holly seems to be doing better. Fennin, you do not. You are still shivering. Your fingers just aren't quite working right. And it's not the sharp pain of the cold in your feet anymore, but it's a Make an insight check for me, Fennon. With advantage.
Say, I'm not rubbing a good feeling.
You would recognize this as more of an achy pain, similar to getting hit with a poisoned weapon.
So it feels like a standing needle kind of thing.
Yeah, but not like the everywhere sharp like you get from frostbite. It's a little duller than that, and it's in both feet. And it started like where your toes meet your feet, and it's been slowly crawling towards your ankle over the last 40 minutes.
So he would telling me again his based on the pain he's feeling, he doesn't think he's going to be able to go.
You have very, very little time left on your torch fire.
Would lesser restoration with the medicine that I got, would that lesser or even greater help?
So at that time, it would have, but it has progressed beyond that, and you've identified that it's progressed beyond that.
How long takes you to lie down after?
40 minutes, maybe 30.
Guys, I suggest we put him on some whiskey bud and lie him a champagne. And eventually, maybe we should head back there, get drunk, all prepared, and come back.
Not a bad idea, Jeff.
Not have full resistance.
Godric, if you're looking through spells for a solution and have a maybe idea, spitball it, because you know I'm pretty loose on rules as written.
Well, I mean, he hasn't actually lost one yet, so don't make the generation at the moment.
You also haven't looked at it, so you don't know what's going on. You just know that it's progressed past basic frostbite.
Okay, I ain't gonna rub your feet, bro, but let me look at it. I mean, I kind of thought I did with the medicine check, but
Oh, no, it was never clarified. But so, Fennon, you take both your boots off, and all of your toes have fallen off, which is why the pain started above them. Your feet are solid black, and like just above your ankles is a deep poisonous green, like gangrene is starting to set in.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go back to the shed. We need to get him
all right.
Just amputate and let him straight shirt cock it for a day.
Yeah, that's
Well, I'm going back home there, so
yeah. Well, let me do
tell me,
this.
do I need to get my own horse to go back or not?
Let me do this. With the gate, with the turning black, green, and things that poison, I should be able to use the lesser restoration to stop that part of it, right? So it doesn't crawl all the way. I mean, it's not going to cure the missing toes, but it'll stop him from.
Yeah, no, because lesser restoration cures poison, so it'll at least stop it in its tracks.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to do while I'm here now.
Okay.
I'm casting lesser restoration so that he doesn't lose any more than what he's already lost. Yeah. Let's put him on surplus back to the ship. We'll hike it back to the ship.
So Fennin, you crawl aboard Sir Fluffybutt, who immediately takes off, and I need a dexterity check from you at disadvantage.
Yeah, we got drunk with 10 binder outfits and 15 sets of traveler's clothes. Dude, we got enough clothes on that ship. We can pass you, like, we'll do like the little kid from, Christmas Story.
As Sir Fluffybutt goes to take off, you didn't realize he was going to go as soon as you got on, and you like do a cartwheel and roll backwards off of him. He kind of stomps his front foot and does a horse snort like a laugh. Fits inside your head. He goes, amateur.
Okay, let's help him.
So you're assisted back onto the horse, Fennin, and this time Fitz is like, "Hold on here."
Whisper to him. Just remember that next time you want to start becoming blind.
And with that, Sir Fluffybutt will take off. You don't need to roll this time. You are held on. 30 minutes later, you'll be back at the ship. The rest of you start making your way back down the mountain, moving full pace now. It'll take you an hour and a half to get back. So at the end of that first hour, con saves for everybody, please, the three of you, with the exception of Godric. So just Fitz and Miss Holly. Perfect. No issues. You guys boogaloo back to the ship. Oh shit, Fallon was with you guys that whole time. He rolled the first con save and passed, and I completely forgot about him after that. But you all make it back to the ship. Baron will let you know that Fennin is down in his room, waiting for you. Have at it. Roleplay.
Yeah, so once again, my apologies for not finding you about the gold. I was born and raised up here. I forgot. Yeah, so back to what I was saying earlier, we got all kinds of travelers outfits and not that bomb ship. Once we are back at the ship, I would cast restoration and
Which restoration? Or are you talking about regeneration? Okay. So you cast regeneration, and as is with the spell, there's no immediate effect, but you can see the coloration is still there, even though the poison is not, and you can see it still slowly starting to recede back down his feet. And over the next 2 minutes, you watch, and as it starts getting towards the toe of the foot, the toes start popping out and growing like a plant popping out of the soil. But 2 minutes later, Fennin is back up to speed and good to go.
I'm gonna tell you right now that I have no skills on making potions. Research has something or survival. What was that called?
I'd argue that. I'd let you say you're proficient with it. I mean, it's not gonna make like let's wear this to go to court type clothing, but as far as like putting pelts together and shit, I'd let you use your proficiency bonus.
So, Mr. DM, we got 10 fighter outfits, 15 sets of traveler's clothes, take however many you feel you need, fast wet knees, and warm clothing. And since Miss Holly was somehow being affected, you might want to button her up a little bit.
So my question is, does anybody have needle, thread, sewing kit, anything of those likes? Because if you do not, you will not be able to make anything.
I do not.
I have strength.
Okay.
But no needle.
I mean, it doesn't say anything about needle, but I mean, I would wager if somebody would need stitches, a healer's kit should have some type of needle in it. And I gotta get a healer kit. I don't know,
Healer's
where does it
kit.
go? But
Healer's kit specifically says bandages, salves, and splints.
right, that's what I was saying. It doesn't
So,
say anything real needly there, but
so a healer's kit is like a combat pouch. It's like a quick and dirty, then get you to the hospital sort of thing. So you wouldn't stop on a battlefield to give stitches. You'd splint the leg, wrap the arm, give him a quick shot of pain meds, and then get him off the battlefield.
what about mending? I mean, if he's fasten some type of like old boots together, could I essentially use mending to try and I can use more clothes, right?
So that's fixing. Well, I've let you guys use mending to fix the ship before, though. So yeah, fuck it. You could use mending.
Okay, well then I guess I am gonna help with mending boots.
Yeah, it's basically you'll have to shape it and hold it in shape, and then hit it with a mending. So there'll still be a little bit of an ability check with it, just to see how the form comes out. Where are you sourcing your items from? Are you getting the furs from the village?
No, we're gonna try using the layers. And
Okay.
finer outfits, 15 sets of traveler's clothes.
So the finer outfits are super thin. They're like like a dress shirt, silk, essentially. The traveler's clothes are a little bit thicker. You think maybe with like multiple layers of them, they might be adequate, but you, Godric, don't really know because it's never bothered you. So,
Yeah, right. So I'm kind of playing on Bennett. You mentioned she has some type of clothing background. I mean, like when I say 10 finder outfits, 15 sets of traveler's clothes, I'm thinking bowl after bowl after bowl, whatever that would keep the heat in.
So, you ever seen like a Neolithic movie where the cavemen basically make like a fur rug and then they shove branches in it to make like a ghillie suit, and that's how they get close to the mammoths? That's essentially what Fennin can make. He can make piece together like Bitch Slap's rat cloak from the old Wednesday campaign.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, I just had another idea. Okay, so for some reason I don't have access to D&D Spelljammer Astrophysicist guide,
Okay.
so I can't pull up the information for the fish suit.
So it is a bulky suit which fully encase. Here, I'll just put it in the chat. Basically, it's a diver suit. Not much in the way of insulation, maybe a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Okay. Well, what I was thinking was we have four suits. Essentially, we could move the boots portion of the fish suit and just
As
separate
you're
from the trapezoid.
as you're pulling it out to take a look at it and evaluate your idea, suit's fucking heavy. It's meant to be used in a zero gravity situation. So while it might work insulation wise, it very likely might slow people down or make them not as dexterous while wearing it. Oh yeah.
What about the tree folk? Amber, Thorin? Do they happen to have any kind of? I mean, they're tree people, I guess. Ask the crew. Any of the crew have any?
So they are your run of the mill low level druids. They can do a little druid crafting, a little shillelagh. They can produce flame, but they gotta be there for that.
I mean, they're crew. One of them could have done that.
Hey, we can sew a suit together, fix a fish suit, but we're from the astral sea. It don't get cold like this out there. As he's standing shivering on the top deck in his sleeveless shirt.
Fair enough.
At this point, when we DM can I ask what's the source of the noise? We're up in the mountains, but we're not like up in the mountains.
Yeah, so the wind isn't as strong here as it was up on the switchback. It's definitely still a pretty good breeze, though. Just enough to where, like, if you're moving, you don't need to roll a con save, but if you stand still for too long, I'm going to make you roll one
Okay.
type situation.
Let's do this.
So you're in a keep moving or die situation, essentially.
Let's just get 2 feet moving and whatever we got to do to try to keep feet, arms, legs, anything in there that has to happen. Let's create something to keep people warm and use the mountain so we can get there faster.
Everyone make a perception check for me.
Okay.
Undead dragon sweeps through the air, nurturing outbound.
Why am I?
I do not know. Probably because you had the button clicked. It's the only thing I can see. Go ahead and roll it again, Godric. Uh, Fitz, Fluffy, and Fennin. Yes, please. Beautiful. All of you, with the exception of Fallon and Sir Fluffy Butt, you hear like rocks echoing, like they fell off a cliff and they're echoing down through the canyon. And you all look up at the cave entrance and see it's on the world map. You all see this dragon. The Technicolor Dreamcoat of dragons, multiple colors auraing and radiating off of it. Godric, you are able to see that the physical features of the dragon are exactly as you remember them. It's just the color that's changed. And the dragon stands there at the top of that switchback for a second, looks down, looks around, kind of scanning its surroundings before you think its eyes lock on your ship. And then it takes off in flight. I'm getting there. It goes up and circles around the mountain a couple of times, seemingly looking for something. It heads west a little ways, out away from the mountains, over the forest. And you can see it circle back before taking off into the east and disappearing from eyesight.
Seeing that, I'm going to say let's get this move thing figured out ASAP and get it, let's get to that cave while it's on. I'd rather catch her on surprise comes back. We don't know what he's left for. We don't know how long he's gone. We need to know now.
Okay. So you spend 10 minutes or so getting strips of, I'm assuming, the traveler's clothes, because that's the heavier of the two, and wrapping feet, hands, forearms, whatever. And then you guys are going to do your horses. Okay. So everybody mark off your find steed then. Should be on your actions tab if you didn't set it up yourself. Pam, yours is underneath your powers section. Just says find steed.
Okay.
You did. That's all you had to do. Here, I got you, Pam. Oh,
I did it.
okay. And Godric, just make sure you mark yours off. So you guys summon your steeds. 3, I think I said they were going to be draft horses. Up here, you mount and start riding. Sir Fluffy Butt being ridden by Fitz, of course. Who's going to double up with Fallon? Just so I know who he's with. Intern. Okay. I'll take that as an answer. Okay. So he will hop on and hold on like an old pro, and you all take off up the mountainside. Riding, your feet are not in contact with the ground, so you lose much less body heat, and you do not need to make con saves. It takes about 2 hours to get up the mountain, keeping your eyes on the sky the entire time as you go. There's no sign of the dragon. He has not returned to the best of your knowledge. You make your way up the switchback to the mouth of the cave. What do you want to do? It would definitely block the wind if nothing else. Before you guys do anything, actually, make perception checks for me. Okay. You all stop at the top and do one last look for the dragon before you head into the cave. And almost simultaneously, as you look out over the horizon, you can all see the landscape. You can see all four cities of Lothran to the west. You can see the barren lands to the east, with the tower that rises up out of the center of it. And almost simultaneously, Fallon and Fennin both hold a finger up and point at the tower, as they both see what they're pretty sure is the dragon circling around it. And as they watch for a moment, it starts flying back towards the mountains. Towards you guys.
Into the cave. Out into the cave.
Okay. The cave is pretty basic. You walk in, you can see 4 ice pillars traveling upwards and attaching. In the center of the ceiling, it is open, as if this was once, long time ago, a volcano that has since frozen over. What are you guys doing with your steeds? Are you keeping them in there with you? Or what are you doing?
We know he came into this cave, so I want to try and grab payment.
Okay.
We can facilitate some type of what do they call those? Like something to hold the reins.
Okay. Hitching post.
There it is. Yeah. If we leave them outside, he's gonna know we're here. And they'll be subject to the outside.
Yeah. Um, you recall Fennin has a piton, which can easily be put into the ice, and then you can run a rope line to hitch the horses to. Sorry if I stole your thunder there, bud. Here you go.
Remind me what this ritual was again, Miss Holly?
You do a once around the entire cave. There is no signs of anything other than the central area here. It looks like unearthed rock and stone and dirt, all of which is frozen over, of course. But clearly something came out of the ground there.
Can we go see if we can move anything? Pull away the rocks or try to break the rocks to see if there's anything hidden there?
You can certainly try. How do you want to go about that? Miss Holly, you were here. You would know that that's where the dragon came out of the ground.
Well, but I don't know if it made a different hiding spot.
Okay.
Just saying.
How do you want to go about trying to dig, essentially?
Well, I was thinking of fireball or something to make it a fucking explosion. Hope for the best.
I didn't ask how big myself.
And on the bright side, we get a little warm too. It's blood. It's in the wind.
Okay.
The dragon's coming back.
So you all watch, and you can see Miss Holly starting to perform the fireball spell. Split chance. Anybody want to do anything?
Duck, dip, dodge, dive.
Okay. Miss Holly, roll a straight d20 for me. You know, when I covered subclasses with you, you were so excited to play a wild magic sorceress. Now that you know what that actually entails, you're like, I'm just never gonna cast leveled spells. Your fireball goes off without a hitch. Make sure you mark your spell slot. It explodes. It explodes in the unearthed area, leaving normal rock and dirt, some of which gets flown. I do need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw for me. For giant icicles falling from the ceiling.
Above table, I did say I wanted the duck, dip, dodge, and dive.
I need one from you too, Miss Holly.
Shield magic.
Yeah. And Sir Fluffy Butt as well, please. Beautiful. So you all kind of jump out of the way as a big icicle lands right in the center of your little huddle. And you hear and Miss Holly and Fennin, you know that meant your horses got hit and went poof, and only one of your steeds remains.
Well, we know it's independent right there. Well, we could put you on the draft board. We can put Miss Holly or Butterbutt. It's a hike back.
Speaking of which, as you say that, you hear a dragon's roar, which you've all heard before. I'm not going to imitate. Its echo fills the cave, and it sounds pretty close.
Motherfuckers, here
Rar.
Alright, so I will cast yep, I will cast my Guardians of Fate.
Okay. Roll. Is that a concentration spell?
Yes.
Okay. Make a.
No,
Co-
no, it's not. I'm sorry.
it's not?
The
Okay.
other spell
Never mind.
is yep, this one just pops up for 8 hours.
Okay. Go ahead and put a token or a circle or whatever wherever you want it. That is really hard to see.
Yeah, I know. I didn't create the token. I didn't create the map.
I know. Just you remember that that's there because I'm not. I can't see it, so I'm gonna forget.
Yep. I got you.
As your spell goes off, so you would all see Godric cast his spell and then like wince a little bit.
Somehow, this dragon has a hold of my mind. Not as in control, but I hear things, and it hurts. This has been happening for months now, but it's getting worse now that we're here. I'm gonna scream out. If you know where I'm at, then come and get it.
Okay. Does anybody want to move anywhere or do anything else in preparation for the dragon's arrival?
Yeah, I'm marching right here. Sword and mace in hand.
What's our lighting like in this case again?
It is well lit. The ceiling light, the ceiling allows for ample light to come in, and then the crystals of the ice reflect that, so it is well lit in here everywhere. Miss Holly, any movement for you?
Can I try? No, never mind.
Actually, can I change that to backhand instead?
Sure can. Fitz, Fallon will follow you around the pillar. Your orders, my lord.
You're still safe. Not entirely like what we're facing here.
Sir, you can you watch as he sheathes his sword, puts his shield on his back, and takes out his bow.
Seems like a very normal place.
Well, you did say dragon, and I think I know enough to know not to get very close to it. Yeah, you guys can do pretty much whatever you want until something happens. You can hear another dragon roar echoing through the cave, though, louder than last time, indicating it's getting closer.
Pull my bow, knock an arrow and see if I have any special shot.
No, but you did buy poisons, if I remember correctly.
Yes, but those only last 1 minute. Yeah. Pull out my bow, knock an arrow, and hide.
Um, where do you see the last for a minute?
Isn't that? Because I thought that's what you and I talked about.
No.
Other players had.
Um,
Give me a minute. I'll
well, I've got your drow poison. Assassin's blood you can't use. That needs to be ingested. But I'm looking at the drow poison, which is injury based. Must succeed on a con save or be poisoned for 1 hour. If it fails by 5 or more, it's also unconscious while poisoned. Wakes up if it doesn't say anything about last for a minute. You're right, though. There might be something in the book.
Yeah, right here. Once applied, the poison continues with the seed for 1 minute, or until it
So that's for basic poison. Your drow poison will last forever. Rules as written.
Although that would be kind of pointless to use on an arrow, considering the fact that you only get one freaking arrow.
Yeah. I feel like at some point it will wear off, but it'll definitely be longer than a minute. Like you can't coat your sword in poison and it's just always going to have drought. Like that won't work. But okay. Anybody else got anything? You all I thought we discussed that. Give me 2 seconds.
So according to this, injury poison can be applied to weapons, ammunition, trapped weapons. Other objects that deal piercing or slashing damage and remains potent until delivered through a wound
Okay, so it's a so it's a one-hit wonder. It lasts until it hits something. Okay. If I remember correctly, you need to be a medium or smaller creature to ride a horse, and when you shape change, you convert to a large creature. So that is a negative on that. Yeah. Yeah, because you got to be medium or smaller to ride a horse. And he is still a horse, he just has wings. So. But alright. You all sit quietly, patiently waiting, doing any preparations. Were you going to apply a poison, Fennin? Okay. You all patiently wait. Occasionally you hear a dragon's roar. Each time gets a little bit louder. Until eventually you can hear the coming in both the top and the entrance to the cave, indicating that he is outside. One last chance. Anybody want to do anything? Okay. Miss Holly, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. Seemingly out of nowhere, the dragon crashes down from the roof, slamming and throwing Miss Holly back. You're going to take 20 points of damage right off the bat and get thrown 20 feet. And be prone on your first round. And as he lands, you'll hear a deep necrotic voice. So think like a zombie or a skeleton talking. More power for me. Very different from the voice you've been hearing in your head, Godric. And I need everybody to roll initiative.
Whatever you say, you little bubblegum little dragon.
I'm gonna ask, but I will completely defer to what you say with no argument. Because I have the arrow down, would I have been able to loose that arrow as soon as he falls down?
It's not a held action just because you have it knocked, so no.
Right.
Now, if you had said when I said, is there anything anybody wants to do last minute, I'm going to sit there and hold a shot.
Sit here reading through too many things.
I think we need one from Fallon. All right. And that'll put us up at the top of the order. Fennin.
Consider the fact that I'm hidden and assuming he may be facing Miss Holly?
I am actually going to say roll a stealth check, and let's see if he knows that you're there or not. No. Fennin.
Is that an advantage or anything when I drop this?
Nope. Just straight. He is looking at Miss Holly. So, as far as you know, you are hidden. Above table, you're hidden.
I'm gonna do what my guy's gonna do is obviously launch an arrow at him. So I'm gonna say for line of sight purposes, he'll pop 5 or 10 feet this way to get line of sight on
Why don't you roll to see if you hit before anything? Before we go through your laundry list.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it on for now, but roll to see if you hit. It's all good, man. Okay, you do hit. So it's going to be surprise attack, sneak attack, your dread ambusher is on your second attack.
Yeah, you're not dropping those sneak attack stuff.
No, I'm it's your character. You do it.
Just want to make sure I'm not double.
And I actually need you to roll and to hit one more time to see if you get a crit, because that needed to be at advantage. Okay. It does still hit, though. Okay, so your first shot is just surprise and sneak, and then your second attack is your dread ambusher. Yep. Okay. 31 partially resisted to 15. Give me 1 second. No, hold on. I'm figuring out that partially resisted because I don't think it should have been. It in this situation it shouldn't have been. So he'll take that full 31. Okay. Now your dread ambusher, which is a regular shot. Oh, I think it's actually at advantage still. Hold on. Yep, so you still get advantage against it. That's because of your assassinate, and it hasn't gone yet. So all that first round, all attacks are at advantage. Hits, so you'll put on your dread ambusher damage, and then swing away. It does not. It's alright. You get the hang of it. So that's another 13, which it will take all of. It's not recognizing your bow the way it needs to. That's why it keeps resisting. So.
Anyways, with those two attacks, he's gonna hit back on.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a stealth check. Yep.
Shouldn't that be an advantage because he is wearing his cloak and his cloak goes over his head?
You never said you put your cloak up. That was out when you were wandering around.
He did say he put his cloak in his pocket.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Hold on. Okay. Go ahead and roll it one more time. I'll give it to you. Trying to make it a hard fight, but you guys keep lawyering me, so.
I would have deferred to whatever he said.
That's alright. Okay. Anything else for your turn?
That's it.
Okay. Miss Holly, prone. It is half your movement to stand up if you want to. Yeah, what do you want? Tell me what you want to do.
I'm gonna do a firestorm on him.
Okay. While you're laying on the ground.
Yep.
Beautiful. I love it. Roll that straight d20 first.
Hey DM, I'm gonna roll another stealth check because I realize I threw your perception out of stealth.
Okay. Oh, it was almost a 1.
You know what?
All right. You're still hidden. All right. Storm. Okay, so the way this works is you are going to call down 10 10-foot cubes, which you can arrange as you wish. Each cube must have at least one face adjacent to the face of another cube. Each creature in the area must make a dexterity saving throw. Takes 7d10 fire damage on a failed save, half as much on a successful one. And it ignites flammable objects. So I'm guessing you're just going to lob them all right down in the center here, yeah?
You got it.
Okay. So he's going to get it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's going to get 9 of the 10. Okay, so drop that con save on him. We're going to do this one at a time. Okay, so go ahead and do the first one.
Constitution save on him.
So underneath the firestorm spell, there's the save, the dex DC 20. Drop.
Yeah.
Here, I'll target him for you. There you go. Okay, and you only got to click that once. Oh no, he had advantage on it. So he succeeds that one, but click the damage. Okay. And go ahead with the next one. You're going to do that 8 more times, just like that. Okay. Seven more.
Oh, it's gonna be a while, guys. Get some popcorn. Jesus. Same.
That was 3. 6 more.
Any plans, anybody, for the weekend?
I will save you from having to roll the rest of those. All of them are getting resisted down to 0. So you call down this firestorm, and these flaming comets come hurling out of the sky, and 9 of them just bash into him. And when all the smoke and dust clears, he is still standing there staring at you, laughing. And you're still lying prone on the ground. What do you have for the rest of your turn?
I'm not doing anything else. So next one.
Okay. You're not going to get up, move.
Well, if I move anywhere, I'm gonna be at this,
Okay. Fits. Sorry. Jeremy, we can't hear you if you're trying to talk. Okay. With a fly speed of 70, you'll be able to get right up next to him there. You will not get mounted advantage on these attacks. I think we've covered that. And Sir Fluffy Butt will get 1 of his attacks. while you're mounted on him.
I am going to use my bonus action
Okay.
to cast Vow of Immunity.
Okay.
So I have advantage on attacks against him for the next minute.
Okay.
There you are.
And then does that have... It does not. Give me one... Okay. Just remember you have advantage against him. 25 will hit. $17 resisted down to 10. Let me double check that. Give me 1 second. Yep. Which you kind of would have pieced together after the firestorm scenario.
Well, that that gives me my second action. I wish that sword to push the legendary back in the rod whenever I'm gonna grab out my longsword.
Okay.
My turn.
Okay. At the end of your turn is going to use a legendary action. And Sir Fluffy Butt is going to make a dex save here. Oh, that is exactly what you... Oh, it didn't calculate the +5. Okay. Goes and flaps his wings really hard. Just missing you guys, and you can feel the gust of wind, but Sir Fluffy Butt is able to maneuver properly. So that nothing happens. And with the force of the gust, he lifts 20 feet off the ground. How high up in the air is Sir Fluffy Butt? I didn't put any elevation on there.
How high is the ceiling? Or did you say there is no ceiling?
The ceiling is open. The rim is maybe 70 feet up.
When I flew in, I would have been at head level with him before he raised himself up, so I don't know how tall he is.
Okay. He stands about 20 feet tall. So I'll put you at 20 feet.
Oh, I'm now at his feet.
Yep.
Okay. Sir Fluffy Butt is going to stab him again with a +1.
Okay. That will hit. $15 points of damage. Eh.
That's our turn.
All right, Godric.
So, I'm 65 feet away. Make math. If I click my boots, doubles my movement, puts me at 80.
Okay.
You'd say he's
center mat. It's 20 feet from his feet to the ground.
Okay.
So you would have to make a 20-foot vertical jump to be able to touch him.
Okay. Not sure if a hand can die.
I don't think so. I would have to look up the high jump rules. You can leap into the air a number of feet equal to 3 plus your strength modifier if you move at least 10 feet prior to jumping. So I don't think you can hit 20.
No. 3 plus my strength is 5.
Yeah.
Okay. We aren't going to try that. Let's see. Oh, there's encouraging. Oh, we got low. That's great. Okay, so I am going to. Let's do. Okay, so spiritual weapon. Go ahead and cast that at fourth level.
Okay.
At his level.
20 feet up.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
And it gets an attack as well. With advantage for Fitz and Fluffy having its attention.
And question.
It misses.
Of course it does. Okay. And and we are going. He is wounded, right?
He has been hit, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I should be able to kill the dead?
And get the more damage, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. If it works. But yeah.
it does. Of course this works.
Why was that at advantage?
I don't know. You want me to roll it again?
No, he succeeded either way. Would have succeeded either way, but I don't know why that was an advantage. So
I don't either.
okay.
I got him targeted. I got life. Here, I'm gonna throw it just for shits and giggles and see if it.
Yeah, did it again.
Yeah, I have nothing selected for mine, so
I don't know.
unless maybe
Unless you
maybe
have
it's not a problem.
an item. Well, that would only it would just double the damage if that were the case. But if you have an item that gives you advantage, I don't know. We'll look at it later. I'll look at it later.
Okay, okay.
Uh, that's it for your turn.
That's it.
Okay, at the end of your turn, it's going to use another legendary action to make a tail attack at Sir Fluffybutt. Hits. Okay, so off him and on you. 20. There you go. And with that, it is now the dragon's turn. The dragon is going to plop back down onto the ground. So Fitz, Sir Fluffybutt, and the spiritual weapon, you're all level, like head level with it now. At the beginning of its turn, it goes and like shakes itself. And as it does so, moves a little bit. And I am going to need, let's see, Fitz, Fluffy, and Godric. It is going to call for a, where is it? Dex saving throw. Oh, that was the wrong one. Hold on. This one. Wisdom saving throw from the three of you. Godric, you're going to fail. Fluffybutt will succeed. And I need one for Fitz. And Fitz is going to succeed. So nothing happens. But as it shakes, the prismatic aura, which is kind of like fairy fire in a way, it's like sparkles of color come off of it like dandruff and fill the air in 30 feet. Miss Holly, you're just outside of that. But it kind of tickles your guys' nose, but nothing else happens. It is then going to reach up and make... no, it's going to go balls out. It's going to use its breath weapon in a... Let me just double check and make sure. Oh yeah, 90-foot cone. It's going to get all three of you. And it is going to be... Hold on, I got to do this part manually. 4, 5, 6, 75 points of necrotic damage. Fitz, you're resistant to necrotic, right?
Yes.
Okay, I gotta do math. Fucking manual numbers, man. Okay, so you failed, but you're gonna take half anyways. So that'll be 37 points for you. So you'll be there. Sir Fluffybutt also failed. He's gonna keep that full damage. And Miss Holly, who just logged out, succeeded. She is gonna take the half, which is 37.
System shut down my computer.
Okay, just sitting here. We're almost done.
Okay. I can't sit. I'll just stand here.
And that will end his turn, bringing us to Fallon, who 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 is going to step to right there. Take some short bow shots. First one with the crit. He did hit crit, right? Yeah, okay. Catching him right behind the eye, he kind of gets thrown and stunned for a half a second, opening up an attack of opportunity from you, Fitz, if you want to take it. And we'll call that at, well, it'd be at advantage anyways. That hits. Does what? You cut out. From Fitz. No, it is not. I'll get that fixed. I'll give him the 9 points of damage for now, and I will get that fixed by next week. Roll.
I was dealing with stuff on Twitch, so I wasn't sure what the attack activity was coming from. That's why I was asking.
Gotcha. Roll a d10 in the chat box, Jeremy. Okay, so 11. So another 17. Okay, good. And that finishes the first 6 seconds of fuckery in the ice cave, bringing us to 12:03 and ending the session for the night.
Awesome.
Waka, waka, waka. But all right, thanks everybody for coming out to watch the stream. Make sure you tune in next week to see how the rest of this goes, and tune in Sunday for Waters of the Deep, and Wednesday for Curse of Strahd, and we'll see you back here next week. Bye, everybody.